All right, and we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday again. We're back, and I am back with someone that is so incredible, Luke Aberle, and you're going to learn this young man's amazing story. He is such an inspiration. I have had the opportunity to get to know him in a mastermind that we're in, and he agreed to come on. So, Luke, welcome. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I am super excited to be here today.
So I'm like, I was like all weekend. I was when we were talking back and forth. I was like, man, this is just going to be so powerful and so great. I'm just so grateful because one of the things that I'm just inspired by your story, but the fact that you are 12 years young and are just making things happen and so positive. I just want everyone to know who you are. I want everyone to bring their children on. So if not, you save the recording, guys, and because it's going to be an incredible story. So, Luke, what's
Well,
up?
welcome, or sorry, not welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. I have a few things I'd like to talk about today, and I see we have some people commenting on here. Hello, everyone, and thank you. This is so cool. So I think if I look at the comments here, hello, Debbie, and welcome everyone to the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I interviewed Debbie this morning actually, and she does coding. So it
Oh,
was
cool.
outside of my comfort zone of the conversation because I know nothing about coding, but she also does some coding games and she helps inspire kids to do coding. So I think that was incredible. So I was really grateful that then I had you on for this afternoon for you to share some of your wonderful wisdoms in your story. So if you don't mind, tell us how you got started. You have quite the legacy, so there's a lot, but whatever you feel where you want to start.
Yes, so my name's Luke Aberle, and I do product reviews on tech products, camping gear, and photography equipment, hoping to help kids and adults find the perfect product for their needs. So if, for example, if you're going camping and you need a tent and a stove and all that, I'll list out different options, review different ones. I've reviewed lots of different products, my little wall here of products, and there's another one over there filled with boxes of products that I've reviewed. And I also do social media management for a few different companies on doing videos and stuff like that. And then me and my dad also have a business called the Kidpreneur Family Challenge, where we help families and kids start their kidpreneur or entrepreneurial journey to start their thing. We have our thing called the Kidpreneur Family Challenge. We have t-shirts and all that. And, we're really hoping to start that to help parents and kids, create that bond together, to start a business, whatever it is. And, I always say, just start. So if you have an idea, if you have something that you really want to do, if you're like, man, that'd be super cool. And maybe something, you and your daughter or your son or whatever you guys want to do together, and you're like, we really do that good. Maybe if that's baking or woodworking or product reviews or whatever it is, you can build that together and hope to help other kids and families and inspire them and really just create this huge community of helping people. And that's what I hope to do today.
That's incredible, Luke. It is so incredible. Just can you guys feel the power of that? Like all of that just resonates with me on such a deep level because children, kids, they need inspiration right now more than ever. They
Yeah.
need to know that you can set your mind to do something and you can accomplish whatever that you choose and set out to do. That being said, I know mindset is very, very, very key and top on your list. So can you share kind of your legacy and how that has all developed over time too? Because you have a powerful story there too.
Yeah, so I've learned mindset, all that stuff from my dad. He's a Tony Robbins certified coach and a Bob Proctor consultant. And, he's really inspired me on, mindset and all that stuff. And so for me, like he's taught me, you have to be in the right mindset and surround yourself with people that like the same things of you. You can't have people that are always, well, I don't know if that's a good idea. You have to have people who are honest with you, not just people who say that's a great idea, that's a great idea. We also have to, but you also So you have to be able to tell that's maybe not the best idea. Maybe, here's some of the risks of that, but we could always try that out. But it's also not the people who are like, no, that's not good. That's not good. Just stick with what you know kind of stuff. So there's like the in-between of that. But we always, he always tells me, sometimes, you have to fire some of your friends in a way because they're maybe just not, and it can be hard because maybe you were friends with them since you were 4 years old or fifth grade or whatever. And then, it's hard to let go of your friends. But the thing is if they're not supporting you, you can try to help them out and be inspirational, but sometimes it's hard. And, you have to kind of you have to surround yourself with people who are going to, really think like you, who are going to trust you, and you can give each other ideas and collaborate and do lives like this with you and all those different things. You have to really do that. So the one thing he has taught me is surround yourself with people who like and do the same things as you. Another thing he talks to me about is, make sure to eat the right foods. That's another thing that we're really big on. Whatever goes in comes out, right? So if even the things that you're listening to, like movies or the TV shows or the music that you listen to, will also impact the way that you listen or talk and how you express yourself. And also food is that way too. If you're always eating junk and candy and pizza and all that, that's also going to express your way. And you're not going to be feeling as good. You're not going to be as motivated in life. You're going to you're going to be a little slumpy. Now, I'm not saying, I do have candy and stuff like that, but don't have it like every day as like your main thing. You got to have moderation in life. And I think that's really important. There's a whole bunch of different things he's taught me, and it's really, really impressive and cool that I have a dad like that I can look up to, and that's helped me with so many different things.
Yeah, that the power of that is, I think, sometimes even, we as adults can take that for granted, our legacy and what we've been taught from our parents. And so what is your process? Like when you get up and you have a lot going on. So when you get up in the morning, like what's your first thing that you do? What's your process to get through and navigate through your whole schedule?
So one thing that I changed that I used to do is I used to, right when I wake up, look at my phone, like when I'm in bed. So for me, I cannot look up at my phone unless I get out of bed. And I really don't like to look at it right even when I get out of bed in like the first 20 minutes, because for me, I get headaches really easily. So the downside is if I look at a bright blue light right when I wake up, there's a 90% chance of getting a headache. So that's like one thing I know is a consequence. But what I also know is, right when you look at a blue screen, it's like you're just getting piled with all this information, even if it's emails for important business interviews or whatever, even if it's stuff like that. It's always good to just start with nothing, just wake up, look outside, go on the deck, breathe in some fresh air.
Yeah.
And then really like when I wake up, I come up with ideas sometimes. Sometimes I'll just get weird ideas for maybe new videos or things to talk about. And then I'll normally have some breakfast. Sometimes, if I'm not feeling totally like that, I might just have like a little smoothie or something like that. And then maybe have a bigger lunch, because sometimes for me, I find I get the most work done from in the morning to like mid-afternoon, because then you obviously get the afternoon slump. And sometimes it can be the other way. Sometimes the morning can actually be the morning slump. And sometimes the afternoon I can be working really hard. But I want to make sure that if I'm really motivated, I don't want to be on my phone or doing distractions like that. And really, I like to plan out what I'm going to do that day. I have a little mini notebook that I carry with me that I put in about 4 tasks that are really going to change my life. Not just like water the plants or whatever, but just like things like that will move me forward. So like one of them is like make progress on. Another thing I heard, one more tip, I heard from a YouTuber that I follow called Peter McKinnon. He's a photographer and all that, and I've looked up to him for many years now. But he started doing this mini notebook challenge, and what he said is don't say, unless you really need to get done, but don't say, like if you haven't made any progress on it, get that thing done, because for your brain, that's a lot of work. Like I have to get that whole thing done, even if it's not the biggest thing. Your brain looks at as unmotivating. That looks like a lot of work. And so your brain always wants to go to do the easiest route. So you'd be like, I'll do that in like 5 minutes. I'm just going to look at something on my phone. And then 30 minutes later, well, I just need to get a quick snack or whatever. And then by the time the day's done, you haven't done it because your brain's like, that looks really hard. So instead of saying, get that thing done, unless you really, like, if you need to get that done that day, you have to get it done. But if it's something like, maybe a video or whatever, make progress on that. So if you made progress on that, if you spent 30 minutes editing that new video or whatever, even if it wasn't the most, your brain looks at, oh, I made progress on that. And you can cross that out on the list. And so that's something that's really important that I've learned, is making it easier on your brain to do harder things almost. I don't know if that made any sense, but just make sure that, you're making your mind healthy and making it so your mind understands what it needs to do that day. And so different things like maybe journaling is a great thing to do. If in this day and age, sometimes there's lots of different things going along. I would suggest to people journal. That's what my dad says too, because you can get all your thoughts and feelings out onto a piece of paper, and piece of paper doesn't go anywhere. So it's just it's your thoughts. Or maybe another thing I really like to do is, if I have ideas, I have a specific app on my phone or even my mini notebook. Most of the time I use the app. It's called the Drafts app. But whenever I have an idea, I make sure to go to that app, because sometimes you can be like, oh, I'll remember that if you are about to go to bed, and then you go to bed and you forget what it was. And so I always make sure to write down anything that I ever think of, because it might be useful in the future.
That is incredible. Yeah, those are some wonderful tidbits too. I mean, that because you're right. The brain doesn't know the difference. If you're feeding it that positivity, and then you're going to turn around and have that maybe something that's not so positive. By putting that whole making progress, that's like a little hack that is easy to do, right?
Make it easy on your brain. Don't make it seem like tasks. Make it seem fun. Another thing that I see people do is if it's a big task, some people will be like, okay, they'll do like work periods. So like 45-minute work periods. So like they set a timer and they'll just work really hard, turn off Slack and messages and all that, just get that out of the way and just work really hard at something. And then once they're done that period, they'll take a relax. Some people maybe will play video games for 20 minutes, or, maybe go outside for 20 minutes, a little 20-minute break. Maybe do like some light work, not like a super sprint. So, maybe like still have messages open, responding to emails and stuff. And then maybe do another sprint for 45 minutes. In those sprints, you can get a lot done. Like I realized if you turn off messages, I can edit videos really fast when you have just nothing's distracting you. Because even if you're not responding to it, you're in the flow, and all of a sudden, ding, in the corner of your computer. Oh, that's cool. But okay, back to work. And it kind of gets you out of that state. So make sure to turn things off, just turn everything off. And I think another tip I've come up with, I haven't come up with it, but I heard from someone, is if you have a lot of emails and you find that emails distract you, personally for me, it's a chore to get my emails done, so they're not really distracting me. But if you do find that social media or messages are distracting you throughout the day, schedule a time in the day to respond to that email. Maybe it's 11 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock or till 11:30 or whatever, depending on how many emails you have. And that's email period time. And then for the rest of the day, don't look at the emails. You can even, if there's important emails that you're like, oh, they can't go without 24 hours without responding, maybe do another period at like 5 o'clock after your work day or whatever. Look at the emails again, make sure to respond. And then that's the rest of the night. Once you wake up, 11 o'clock, and then just go through that. So instead of always looking at it, just do it as, just look at it at a certain period of time. Then it just doesn't distract you, doesn't get you out of your flow. And those are just some ideas I have for you.
Yeah, those are great. And thank you for sharing this, because one of the things that I've just been really excited about having you on is because I just feel like, a lot of my friends have children, right? And to be able to bring someone of your caliber to this show, to be able to share, I feel like it's really going to make a really massive impact in their life, right? Because now it's like, it's not me saying that, it's not their parents, it's not their grandparents that are telling them something. This is someone that they can relate to, right?
Yes.
That's like, what? Who is that? Look, are you kidding me? And they're going to go back and rewatch this, and they're like, I got to get my journal. I got to go back. I got to replay. I got to rewind because of all these tidbits. So thank you for this, because this is really going to really make a massive dent in a lot of people's lives. So thank you for being so open and sharing. I really appreciate that. It's amazing. So with that, um, um, how did you get into, so, well, let me see, how do I understand it? So you do product reviews, you do photography. Was photography a hobby that you had and then it progressed into something? Did you have had toys that you liked and that you just started doing reviews on? Can you share how you got started and the way that has blossomed into this magnificent life?
That's an awesome question. So I guess this all starts all the way back to when I was 4 years old. My dad gave me my first point and shoot camera. It's just over on the shelf there. It's on my little Hall of Fame shelf. But what it is I got that point and shoot camera while we were camping, and there was a little 8 GB SD card in it, which took like 500 pictures because the pictures weren't very high quality. But I went over and I was fascinated by the camera because I just loved, I could zoom in and out, take pictures of everything around me. And then once we went home and hooked up to the computer, I could see all these pictures that I took. And so I remember as I went along, I'd take pictures when we'd go camping or even sometimes around the house. My favorite places would be to take pictures while we were camping. But I remember when I was like 6, me and my grandpa would always go on a morning walk at like 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. And I would take pictures and I'd be like, hey, Grandpa, could you stay right there? That's like a perfect picture. And I'd take pictures of that. And I think that'd be so awesome because I love doing that. That was something, and I still do photography and videography to this day. That's something I'm super passionate about. And that was like the first real thing that was, I guess, included tech and photography for me. I loved taking pictures. I tried taking pictures of flowers and the moon and landscapes and all that stuff. And that really started photography for me. Then at the age of, I guess, 8 years old, I really found a huge passion for tech. I liked a little bit of tech before, but everyone always said to me, whoa, you really know this. Like my Fitbit, how to get my Fitbit set up. And for some reason, I just knew how to set up the Fitbit. And I'd go through it for like my grandparents. And then they'd be like, oh, you're really good at this. And I'm like, oh, actually I am. And so I'd go along and I was like, maybe I really love tech. So I'd go on YouTube and I was watching different tech YouTubers. I'm like, this is really cool. But what I find right now is I'm looking at all these tech YouTubers and all of them are adults. None of them are kids. And so I'm like, well, kids should be able to do this too. So I started my own YouTube channel called Luke's View. And basically I have this t-shirt too. But what I went along is I started my business to hopefully help kids and parents be inspired, but also find the perfect product for their needs. So like I said, whether that's a tent or a cooler or a camera or a phone or headphones or whatever it is, I would review that, tell them everything about it, real world tests, everything that I would like to do. And I'm like, this is what it means to me. Like, for example, me and my dad did a collaboration unboxing on a drone that we did together. And we were talking about all the different sensors and the resolutions and how it flew and how fast it could go and all that stuff. And we did that, and that was super fun. And I love doing collaborations with my dad. But that's when I really came into tech, and I was like, this is really cool. And then, I mean, the first time I went camping, I guess, was even earlier when I was like not even a year old. My mom and dad would take me camping to out far away in the backcountry and all, not the backcountry, but like but still quite away in the forest. And that's where we'd go. And I loved doing that. I remember at the age of 3, I got this rock from just scavenging, and I loved camping. It was so relaxing and everything was just awesome. And I loved it. And so I was like, what if I collaborated all 3 of my interests together? And I was like, I love all this. I could just make videos about this, doing vlogs, teaching photography and tech products, and just doing all that together and just helping to inspire kids and just doing what I love.
That is awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. So when you finally made that connection that you had the ability to talk in real talk and share the products and the experience of the products, plus your love of photography, what was it just like an aha moment, like out in the woods or something? Or what did that make you feel like when you finally realized, like, this is the connection, this is what I'm going to do? And what steps did you take to propel you for that next I guess, would be phase 2, because you had an idea and now you're moving into the implementation phase?
It was kind of an aha moment, kind of looking at that. Like, I love doing this. I could make videos about this, and like help other kids. And I'm like, this could be my business. And I really love doing that. And that was something I loved doing. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Like, this is actually something I really like to do. And I've been doing it now. I started that business at the age of 9. I designed my own website at the time. I've been editing all my videos since my first video. And now I do it, and I love what I do.
And you're a natural. You're just a natural, talented, wonderful, wonderful mentor
Thank
and
you.
inspiration. I'm just the more, I mean, you're in the mastermind, so that's where I first made the connection with you, and just hearing some of the stories that you shared, it's just so inspiring. I mean, you like have the whole room mesmerized. We're just in this hypnotic state when Luke speaks, and so to have you here, to be able to share that and to give that inspiration and that hope to kids. At 9 years old, you started doing video editing. I mean, I'm tech challenged. I think if you've watched any of my videos, you hear me say that quite frequently. And I can't even imagine, like, literally, I had the MacBook Mini, and it took me a minute to try to figure that baby out. And it's just this generation, just their intellectual property, it's in a different phase. I'm in a different phase of life, right? But and we have to grow into technology, where you guys were kind of born into that new realm of technology. So to be able to just fly like that, I think that's just an incredible gift, an incredible talent. And again, you never cease to amaze me, Luke.
Thank you.
I love it.
And to all the kids out there, the parents, it's never too late to start anything. Even if you're 65 and you want to start a business. We were actually sitting at the supper table yesterday, and we realized that the company KFC was started. The guy was like 65 years old when he started the company, and now it's a huge company. And so I think, whatever it is, if you believe in it and you really want to do it, just start. Some people are like, well, what's the outcome going to be? What if it doesn't go right? Whatever. There's like the devil in the back of your head almost that like says, well, what if this happened? What if this happened? And you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen because I haven't started. If you can't, I bet no one right now can look into the future to see what's going to happen. So the second best thing you can do is just do it. And then you can start and you can actually see what the outcome's going to be. And I bet the outcome's going to be good.
It's amazing. So we've got several comments. So thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. Make sure you like this and share this out. But we have Mary says, you are an inspiration. I have a 10-year-old grandson, Luke, that I would love for you to meet. So look at what we're already creating here.
Yes.
I mean, that's thank you. This is so beautiful.
If anyone wants to reach out to me, if you want me to connect or whatever, I love connecting. That's like literally the favorite thing I love about my business is connecting with people. And so if you want to connect, you can go to my website, lukesview.com. That's where my social medias are. You can DM me on Instagram and all that. And yeah.
It's lukesview.com?
Yeah. And I can put that in the chat box too.
Okay. I think, let's see. Did I get it?
Yes, that's perfect.
All right. So now we have that. And give me just a second, Luke. You'll have to bear. I'm old school, so I'm not as fluid as you are with technology, but I'm getting better, and I'm proud of myself. So I will give myself credit. But
you're doing awesome.
Okay, lukesview.com. There we go. So yeah, go and check out lukesview.com. Make sure you subscribe to all of his social media platforms. Make sure that you get your grandchildren, nieces, nephews, friends, family, all involved, because you will not be disappointed. So Luke, tell me this. Once you started, did you have any type of hesitation of at any point, like, maybe I shouldn't do this, or have any doubts that this is the direction I should be going, or maybe I shouldn't do the photography portion of it? Did you have any of those types of questions?
To be completely honest, no, I didn't. And that's because, and I'm super proud of that too, for me, I don't really have the trouble of, worrying about other people's opinions. That's something I'm proud of. Is
Yes.
for me, I remember in third grade, in fifth grade, I brought the book Millionaire Success Habits to class. And because I didn't really care what people would think. And that's because I liked reading that. And I remember teachers and even like sixth grade or whatever, I'm in seventh grade now, but like last year, they would be like, that book seemed a little too old, why don't you read a book like this? And I said, no thank you. And then they're just like, because for me, this is the stuff that interests me. And
Right.
For me, that's what I like to do. And I think it's great if you want to expose your kids to other things, but let them do what they want to do as well. Let them explore and do what they really want to do in life. Because, you can tell them what things they could do, but they're never going to know what they truly want to do in life unless they actually explore. For me, I got my first point and shoot camera and I realized I love photography.
Yeah.
And for me, that was something that was really big. So, let your kids explore, do whatever, and just, really let them live their life.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you talked about you and your dad had done a review on the unpackaging of a drone. So
Yeah.
are you incorporating that type of technology now into your videos and for some of the clients that you do work for, or are you just exploring that, or is that something that's a natural talent for Luke as well?
Yeah, so like on my YouTube channel, like I would do like unboxings and reviews and all that of like I remember when I first started, I would do reviews. I would go around the house and I batch filmed like 10 videos just finding random things to review. They're still on my YouTube channel to this day. But for me, and like I really love drones and all that. And so I just would review that. Like we did review. And for me, that's really important. And now that I've grown, my YouTube channel has taught me about editing. And so now I do editing for other people for social media stuff. And so that's really important to me. And I think that's, my YouTube channel, my business has taught me so much. And my dad's taught me so much. My whole family's taught me so much.
Oh.
And it's really been a really awesome journey for me.
Yeah, you're just, I'm going to keep saying it and you'll just have to keep hearing it. You're just an incredible young man, and I'm just so grateful to know you, and you're just such an inspiration. When it comes to like your affirmations, because I know you've been exposed to a lot of the Bob Proctor culture. So have you implemented, and this is not worded correctly, what have you implemented on a daily basis as far as, are you doing those affirmations? Do you have I know you mentioned the journaling and some of the tools and the modalities that you have used. So talking about Bob Proctor specifically, what have you implemented that you use on a daily basis, or that you have found that has been the most beneficial for you?
So for me and my whole family, we all did this. We all made up goal cards. So we came up with the goal cards, we laminated them even. So it was really nice. And so like my dad, he has 3 goal cards in his wallet, and he carries his wallet everywhere. So they're all in there. And so, different goals. Now it's recommended to do one card, but I mean, if you really want it, you could do as many goal cards as you want. There's no limit. There's no one saying you can only do that. And so for me, I have my goal card that says by December 30th, I believe it says, I would like to reach 50,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel by the end of this year. That's a pretty big goal because it's only 6 months away. And right now I'm at like 400 subscribers. But if I work really hard at it, I believe, if you carry that with you, I recommend to everyone use goal cards, carry in your pocket, look at it every day, and just, it will get you there because you're constantly reminded that's my goal. And I think in life and just in your business and all that, you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you don't know where you're going. That's what my dad says all the time. If you don't have a goal, no matter how good you are, you could be doing whatever you want, but you don't know. The goal decides where you want to go. So if you put a goal for you, like when you're going from your house on a road trip, right? Most of the time, you want to have a goal of where you want to go, the destination and where you want to go. Now, road trips, sometimes people like to go wherever, but an analogy is, you want to have a point A and a point B. When you want to get to point B, you need a goal to get there. And so if you look at a goal, like, for example, like my 50,000 subscribers goal, I'd like to get there. And if you don't have a goal, if you're like, I want to get big on YouTube one day, well, that's a good goal, but it's not very specific. You have to narrow down on what your goal is going to be. So for me, I chose 50,000 subscribers. I didn't choose 1 million. I didn't choose 1,000. I chose that specific number. And that was, for me, you have to be very clear on what your goal is going to be. And that if you don't have a clear goal, then you might not have a clear business or a clear life. So clear goals, clear life.
Yeah, I just want to share here. Debbie says, and you're inspiring indeed, Luke. You're a shining light for other kids and adults.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luke, they appreciate you sharing. That's so awesome to have that mindset at your age. Other people's opinion doesn't matter. Do you? Beautiful. So thank you. I mean, because the world needs to know that there's good out there, and that there are people doing good things, and more importantly, not only people, but young people. You're a leader, and you're a leader, right? So to be able to speak so powerful, so eloquently, and with such tenacity and clear focus, to be able to give somebody to come back and watch this and pick up some great tidbits, but then go to lukesview.com and then expand their horizons even more. I'm telling you, Luke, I mean, you're amazing. You're just amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful.
Thanks for everyone coming on to this show. It means a lot to me, and the chat's super active, and I love it.
Yeah, it is. Mary says, never cared about what people think. I believe if you do you and follow your dreams and goals, you will be happy. Yes,
I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. So how often, like when you set your goals, Luke, do you have each year? I mean, everybody has their own version of how they reevaluate, and then they look, and then like once you set a goal, you hit that goal. What can you talk just briefly on what your process is for elevation once you've accomplished something, or maybe you got to a point where that's not the direction you really wanted to go because you had clarity in another area, and how you redefine that for yourself?
So quickly, before I put a specific answer to that, something that Bob Proctor always says for creating goals is it doesn't have to be on the first day of January. And you can create a goal whenever you want. Goals are always changing. So your goal can always be changing. You don't have to feel, oh man, I mean, I don't like your outcome as you go on throughout your life. Like I always see maybe my goal, I'm like, so at the start of the year or whenever I create that goal, maybe 6 months later, I'm like, that goal for me isn't really where I want it to be at. I'm going to shift that. And you don't have, like, for your goals, you want to stick to them, but you can shift them around. You don't have to, stick to that specific goal. And, that's really important. Maybe like for you, maybe you're like, okay, I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers and it's not the end of the year yet. I want to push myself more. So maybe like bump that up a little. Or maybe, for example, I want to maybe partner with this specific company. And you're like, maybe right now that company for me isn't where I really want to partner at now. Maybe I'm going to shift a little bit over to this company almost, or like whatever you want to do. Your goals can shift, your goals can change. As long as you stick to them, your goals have to shift and change. We're always evolving and all that. And so we don't have to always just stick to the goal. We have Jerry on here.
Jerry's on. Says you're a superstar and inspiration. Absolutely. Sure are.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 100%. When you started building your business, when you made calls, did some of the recipients seem like it was a little odd because they were speaking with a 12-year-old? I mean, you speak with power, don't get me wrong, but were they like a man, like, you're how old? 12 years old? What?
So like for me, like when I first started, I reached out and did a lot of emails, and still to this day I reach out to different companies for partnerations and all that. And lots of the time they don't even respond, or they say, I think you're too young right now. And that can be hard, but it's a good learning lesson to be like, you're going to come up with things like that in life where it's going to be harder and challenging. And if you don't have bumps in the road, it's not going to be, you're not going to learn about the true things of how to stand up to that. And, you know, like sometimes we went to this camera shop and we were looking at this camera that I really liked and I knew a lot about. I know a lot about cameras, not to brag, but just I really like cameras. And you know, we went there and he said, and my dad asked, how much is this camera? And I said, it was this price. And then the guy said, no, it's this price. And then we're like, I don't know if it's that price. And we're like going back and forth on what the price was. He said, I'm just going to go grab something real quick. And I looked on my phone at what the price was, and I actually had the right price. That's beside the point of the story. But what it is, you know, I have gotten all the time, you know, wow, you're so young. How do you know all this? And it's just, I really love that stuff. And I think if you really love it and you're really passionate about it, you know, you're going to get like goals. You have to have the right goals. And for me, I study a ton about tech and camping and photography equipment, always looking at what the new stuff is. And so I know what that is. So I can keep my reviews and my product reviews and my videos to the absolute highest quality. I see what the trends are and what everyone's doing and creating new ideas, not just what everyone else is doing, but doing all that stuff.
Yeah. So what was it like when you got your first client?
It was really, for me, like when I started my business, I didn't make really very much money from the start. And for me, that didn't really get to me. For me, then I still love this. And this is my number one thing. For me, I'd rather have relationships over money. For me, like whenever I meet someone new or someone reaches out to me and says hi, or I create a new friend, that is like the most powerful thing to me. And so when I got my first client, and it was just like, for me, I was like, whoa, that is so impressive. It was a product review for Cold Steel knives. And the video is still on my YouTube channel. It was an awesome video. And I remember doing that video. I was like, this is cool. And then they said, you can keep the knives. I still have the knives. I still use the knives. And they're awesome. It's an awesome product. And their YouTube channel has like 1 million subscribers of them testing the knives. And so for me, that was really powerful. And then we went on and I got a partnership with Yeti Outdoor Products. And we're still collaborating to this day, still connecting and all that. And for me, and there's more partnerships that I've done. And for me, when I first got my first partnership, I was like, wow, that is super cool that I can make money from this and help people, and people are willing to help me. So I can help people because I want to inspire kids, but they're sending me out products so I can inspire other kids as well. And for me, I was like, that is super cool.
Yeah, that's living your best life when you can live in 100% congruency and alignment with what you know you were born to do, and you're just such a natural. I am just so excited that so many people are going to be able to hear this message and going to be able to share it with their grandkids and their kids. Is just so amazing. So I'm just so grateful. I know you're really, really busy too, so I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
Thank you so much. For me, it's an honor to be on here today.
So what motivation, or what is something that you can, not that you haven't already left us like totally inspired and mesmerized again, but what's a takeaway that you would like for everyone to know before we part ways? But I want to, before you answer that, I also want to leave the invitation open that you would come back.
Yes, I will come back.
Thank you.
Let's stay in touch. I'm super excited about this. And so for that, this is how I like to end off everyone always asks me the same question, and it's 2 words: just start. Whether that's whatever it is, if you're starting your own business, or even if it's not a business, even if it's, you know, maybe you're starting a new goal, or maybe starting whatever it is. Maybe you're a little worried about it. Just start. And I know I've said that, but just do it. Starting is going to be the best thing that you've ever done. And so, you know, make that your wallpaper. I'll even come up with a graphic one day for a wallpaper. Just start.
Just start. That's
and
awesome.
I think that's super powerful. And that's one thing I'd like to say today.
I think that is a perfect ending to another perfect segment with Luke. You're just amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget, everyone, to go to lukesview.com, and check him out. Make sure that you subscribe and connect, because one of the things that I love what you said, because that's one of my passions, is that deep connection with people, because you can always make money, but you can't always find people that you want to connect and be around. So thank you for sharing that powerful message as well. So hold on. I just want to say thank you for everyone who joined us. We love you guys, and we are so excited. Have a super, super great rest of the week, and peace out.
Peace.